Kia ora, everyone. We'll just wait a moment while the participant numbers creep up. Thanks for being so punctual. Welcome, everyone. We're just waiting as the numbers creep up a little more. Thanks very much for your punctuality. Anna, if you could just pop a note in the chat when you're ready for me to start, that'd be great. Kia ora, everyone. Tēnā koutou katoa, nō mai, haere mai, ki tēnei hui. I'll start with a karakia, me karakia tātou. Tū taua mai I runga, tū taua mai I raro, tū taua mai I wahu, tū taua mai I roto. Kia tau ai, te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki te katoa. Haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Kia ora and welcome, everyone. My name's Andrea Rickard and I'm the President of ACE New Zealand. Welcome to the annual general meeting. It's wonderful to have so many of you joining us from around Aotearoa today. The AGM is an important moment in our calendar. It gives members the opportunity to hear directly from the board and management, understand how we've delivered against the strategy and hold us accountable for the stewardship and financial management of your association. Just as importantly, it is a moment for us to pause and recognise the strength of this community and the value of being part of ACE New Zealand. Now, there is a membership video that we'll make available to everybody to view when you get a moment. So we'll pop that in the chat and you'll be able to have a look at that when you get a chance. So this year's AGM comes at a time when across our consulting and engineering sector, we're still operating in a pretty tricky environment. There are some more encouraging signals across infrastructure and in the private and commercial sectors, but the day-to-day reality for many firms remains uncertain. As a sector, we're balancing workload, cost and client pressures while still trying to retain good people, invest in capability, respond to new technology and make decisions about the future without always having the certainty we need. And yet, even in that uncertainty, there's also energy, opportunity, and a very real sense that the work we do matters. I want to acknowledge that shared reality. The pressure across our sector is real, and many of us have had to make difficult decisions while continuing to show up for our people, for our clients, and for our communities. That takes resilience, judgment, and care, and should not be underestimated. But it also shows the strength of leadership that sits within this sector. It's practical, it's grounded, it's determined, and deeply committed to the future of Aotearoa. At the same time, the work we do has never been more important. As ACE members, we bring the expertise, advice, and leadership that help shape the places New Zealanders live, work, and move through every day. And together, our work supports safer and more resilient infrastructure, better environmental outcomes, stronger communities, and better decisions about long-term investment. It is practical, it's professional, and a deeply valuable work, and it gives us every reason to be confident about the role our sector can play. That value matters as Aotearoa looks ahead to the National Infrastructure Plan and the scale of delivery required over coming years. That ambition is significant, but ambition alone will not deliver the infrastructure New Zealand needs. We need a strong, capable consulting sector with businesses that have confidence to invest in people, grow capability, attract talent, and retain skilled staff already in our sector. This is also a moment for business leadership. At times when government direction can feel cautious or fragmented or short on inspiration, we can't afford to wait for others to create confidence for us. As business leaders, we have a responsibility to keep investing in our people, backing good ideas, strengthening relationships, and showing what constructive, future-focused leadership looks like in practice. That's why stability and certainty matter so much. We can't invest for the long term in a stop-start environment. We need clearer visibility of pipeline, fair procurement and contracting settings, and policy direction that give us confidence to plan ahead. But while we advocate for those conditions, we also need to keep leading within our own businesses, building resilience, growing capability, and keeping our focus on the value we create. Without that, we risk losing the very people and capability New Zealand will need most when promises turn into actual projects. That's a key role for ACE, a role that we play in the sector, helping to build and sustain a healthy consulting market. With the general election ahead, our advocacy role is especially important. We continue to speak clearly and constructively with political leaders, government agencies, clients, and sector partners about what our sector needs to thrive and what New Zealand needs to deliver well. Our message is simple and consistent. Give us a stable pipeline, procure fairly, contract sensibly, and invest in the people who will actually deliver the work. We'll also continue to champion the value of consulting. The public conversation too often focuses on what consultants cost. We need to keep reminding decision makers what good consulting saves. It saves poor decisions, wasted investment, unmanaged risk, and missed opportunities. We're not just delivering projects, we're helping clients solve complex problems and create lasting value for communities and the environment. None of this reduces the pressures we're facing today. Across the sector, many firms are still navigating tight margins, delayed work, changing client expectations, and the challenge of getting people engaged and supported through uncertainty. But I'm encouraged by the way we continue to respond with professionalism, generosity, collaboration, and a genuine commitment to doing good work for New Zealand. That's not just resilience, it is leadership, and that is the strength of ACE. Our collective voice is stronger because of the insight, experience, and support we bring as members. Our engagement shapes ACE's advocacy, informs our submissions, strengthens our conversations with decision makers, and keeps us focused on the issues that matter most to firms of all sizes across the motu. Thank you for your continued support of ACE, and thank you for the valuable work we all do every day. Our contribution to New Zealand's communities, environment, and future prosperity is significant. There's no pretending the year ahead will be easy, but there is reason to be positive. We're a sector with deep expertise, strong relationships, committed people, and a clear role in shaping our future. This is our time to lead with confidence, not because the path is simple, but because the work matters and because business leaders across this sector understand what it takes to turn uncertainty into progress. If we continue to work together, advocate clearly, and back one another, we can face it with confidence. So with that, we'll move into today's agenda. So the agenda for today's meeting was circulated to members and made available on our website on the 11th of August. We haven't received any motions from members for this AGM. We certainly welcome any items of general business that members would like to raise. Please do type that into the chat now and we'll get into looking at those at the end of the AGM. For the formalities, to note that for voting purposes, please only vote if you're an eligible voter. That means you're a formal representative from your firm or you're an honorary life member. So we'll move now to apologies. We have 2 apologies so far. We've got Enrico Vink from Dam Safety as a life member. Enrico Vink is a life member and Dan Forster from Dam Safety. So are there any other apologies from the floor? Just wait a moment if there's any, if you could pop those into the chat. Okay, we'll move forward into the next slide. So the minutes of the 2024-25 AGM. The minutes were circulated to members and made available on the website along with the notice of this AGM and agenda. I'd like to move that the minutes of the 2025 AGM be approved. Could I please have a seconder? If you could type that in as a seconder into the chat. Thank you, Karen. All those who support or do not support this motion, please complete the poll that will appear on your screen. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. Remember, only complete that if you're a representative of your firm. How are we going, team?
I think we've got that one, Andrea.
Great, thank you. So the motion has passed. Helen, is that right?
Oh, 15 votes in.
Thank you.
Yeah. Passed.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
So if we move on to the next page, are there any matters arising from the minutes of the 2025 AGM? I'll just give a moment for people to pop anything in the chat that they have arising. Okay, I think that's adequate time to move on. So if we move on to the next page, new members. So over the last year, our member firms have stayed at 270. We've remained focused on one-to-one member engagement and working with firms interested in membership, but firm conversion was again slow due to continuing economic and geopolitical volatility and business uncertainty. The 270 firms we represent employ more than 15,000 engineers, project managers, planners, scientists, architects, surveyors, and other technical disciplines who provide specialist services across the built and natural environment. Despite a few member resignations, we also gained some new members, illustrating our increasing presence and influence in the market as the consultants champion and voice for consulting and engineering firms in Aotearoa. We'd like to officially welcome all new members into the ACE family, and we hope your experience to date has been a positive one. I won't read out all the names on the slide, but we are going to pause so you can read and welcome those new members. We'll go next. Thank you for those of you who's figured out the clap button. We'll go next to the resigned members. The following organisations resigned their membership in the 25-26 financial year. These numbers consist of resignations, retirements from practice, mergers and terminations. So I'm going to move on now to present the annual report for the year ended the 31st of March 2026. We're extremely proud of the work we do with and for you to support you in your delivery of outstanding consultancy services and maintaining strong and sustainable consulting businesses ready for the challenges and opportunities of today and tomorrow. Our annual report holds us accountable to you for what we've delivered over the year, but is also a celebration and a tool we can use to showcase ACE, our members, and our sector with a wider stakeholder group. If you haven't had a chance to review the annual report already, please do. It is a really easy read. It's been beautifully presented, and so you'll find it at the link that is going to be put into the chat in a moment. The small ACE team has achieved outstanding work across our 4 new strategic objectives of driving change as the voice for consulting and engineering, powering successful businesses that are ready for the future, growing consulting excellence, and building an aligned and resilient organisation. So some commentary from me. As I've said already, and I'll build on what I said at the start, this has been a year of challenge and also one of real clarity for our sector. The consulting market continues to face significant headwinds shaped by that global uncertainty, cost pressures, and a constrained local spending environment. These forces have reinforced the importance of coming together as a profession, advocating for the value of consulting, supporting strong and sustainable businesses, and ensuring our sector has a clear and confident voice when it matters most. Together, we've strengthened that voice through the NZIER Unlocking the Value of Consulting report, which has helped us articulate the economic value our members deliver for Aotearoa and where our collective focus must continue to be. Please do use that report and use it to reference in any of the engagements that you're having in the market. Our engagement principles for consultants and clients have also provided practical leadership, setting clear expectations for how we work together to build trust, deliver value, and achieve better outcomes in this environment. That shared understanding is not simply helpful, it is essential. Despite the pressures, our industry has continued to demonstrate resilience, ambition, and a willingness to lean into change. And we saw that at our SME Summit, where the focus on AI highlighted the value of learning together, testing new ideas, and building the capability and confidence our businesses need for the future. We have also reinvigorated the ACE Awards program with tremendous energy. The strong response and a surge in entries this year reflects the breadth, ingenuity, and impact of our members' work, and an industry that is rightly proud of the contribution it makes to communities across Aotearoa. Looking ahead to Future Space 2026, that represents a purposeful investment in the consulting skills our current and future leaders will need. With an election looming and an infrastructure pipeline that demands sharp focus on capacity and capability, the strength of our sector and our ability to act collectively has never been more important. We've continued to champion a solutions-focused voice in government advocacy, ensuring consultants are recognised as essential partners in shaping Aotearoa's infrastructure, economy, and future prosperity. Our growing strategic partnerships, including welcoming Gallagher Insurance into the wider ACE whānau, future strengthen the support and value we can provide to members. At its core, our work has been about providing leadership on healthy commercial relationships and fair contract practices. We've continued to engage constructively with clients, government agencies, and industry partners to support better outcomes across the sector. I would especially like to thank our legal forum for the expertise and time they so willingly contribute. Their efforts make a significant difference to the strength and sustainability of our industry, and a very well-deserved President's Award that was given out at the ACE Awards last year. In a demanding period, we've made meaningful progress, not because of any one organisation, but because of what we've achieved together. Thank you for your continued commitment to ACE, to one another, and to strengthening our profession. The challenges ahead are real, but so too is opportunity, and I'm confident that together we are well placed to shape a stronger future for the industry and for Aotearoa. So we'll move now on to the financial results. Our annual report included a link to our audited performance report for the year ended 31st of March 2026, and this was also provided with the agenda. So if we go on to that next slide. Thank you. The board presented to last year's AGM an operational budget for the 25-26 financial year with a deficit of $60,546, alongside a $60,000 capital investment in a new CRM and website. The 2026 budget reflected a strategic decision by the board to utilise previous retained earnings to invest in our strategy and organisation. This included capital spend to put in the new CRM and website, investment in two key thought leadership pieces, that value of consulting and the principles for enhancing consultant and client engagement, investment in our new awards branding so that we are better showcasing the value of our members and what great consulting looks like, and investment in a digital companion to the competency framework. We ended the 25-26 year with a deficit of $83,212, slightly over budget. So if we go to the next slide, please. When we look at our actual or audited revenue versus our budgeted revenue, you'll see that our member fees and subscription revenue were less than budgeted due to a reduction in the staff members employed by our member firms, although net membership by firm remained static. It was also a challenging year in respect of delivering events to budgeted revenue, and this is reflected in lower than budget revenue from commercial activities. However, we were pleased to secure 2 strategic partnerships in the last financial year with Project Works and Gallagher and First Capital under our new strategic partnerships program, providing support for our mahi and helping members with key business challenges across a difficult year. On the next slide, for expenditure, we invested in the areas we said we were going to invest in, including that economic evaluation of the value of consulting and the principles for enhancing consulting and client engagement, while maintaining careful management of our overall expenditure. We continued to invest in the diversity agenda and other core activities like our remuneration report, conference, awards, our membership of FIDIC, and in our people. So moving to the motion. We're pleased to report that our auditor, Moore Markhams, has given a clear and unqualified report, and I'd really like to thank the ACE team for this great result. At this point, I'd like to move that the audited performance report for the year ended 31 March 2026 be accepted. Could I please have a seconder, and if you could pop your name into the chat. Got someone here, you again, Karen, thank you very much. All who support or do not support the motion, please complete the poll on your screen. I'll give you 30 seconds or so to complete the poll. Team, if you could let me know when we've got the numbers. Thanks, everyone. Motion passed. I'm going to hand over now to our Chief Executive, Helen Davidson. Helen, welcome, and look forward to hearing about the year ahead.
Kia ora, thank you, Andrea, and kia ora koutou. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at our annual general meeting. It's a privilege to reflect on the year that has been with Andrea and to acknowledge the environment that our sector has been operating in, and to look ahead with clarity and purpose to the next financial year. As you've heard from Andrea, the past year has tested our sector in profound ways, with economic and geopolitical volatility, a slow and uncertain infrastructure pipeline, and sustained pressure on confidence, capability, and cash flow have created one of the most challenging or toughest operating environments in a really long time. Yet it's also reinforced why ACE New Zealand exists, to bring our industry together, speak with a strong collective voice, and ensure the value and expertise of consulting and engineering businesses are understood by those making decisions that shape our future. That collective voice has been especially important this year. We're working hard to ensure members' experiences and perspectives are heard through submissions, letters to ministers, direct engagement with decision makers, media commentary, and representation across key industry and policy groups. We've advocated for fair contract terms and spoken up on procurement, proportionate liability, infrastructure planning, and emergency management reform, because those settings directly affect whether firms can plan, invest, retain people, and deliver well. As we look to the year ahead, that advocacy will become even more critical. The National Infrastructure Plan highlights the scale of work New Zealand must deliver, but it also brings capacity, capability, and productivity challenges that cannot be ignored. We know that Aotearoa can realise efficiencies in infrastructure delivery with system-wide culture and capability shifts. I'm talking about better upfront planning, collaboration and decision-making, stronger business case processes, fair procurement practices, and greater funding certainty. The November election also makes this a significant moment for our industry. Regardless of the political landscape that follows, ACE will continue to advocate for stability, consistency, and long-term thinking. As businesses cannot build resilient teams or deliver complex programs in an environment of stop-start investment and shifting priorities, or in an environment that devalues the critical role that our consulting engineers play. Our businesses need confidence to plan ahead, and New Zealand needs the consulting sector to be strong enough to help turn ambition into delivery. So our focus for the year ahead is anchored in our 4 strategic pillars. First, we'll continue driving change as a voice for consulting and engineering. Last year, we invested in developing a strong evidence base for our advocacy, as Andrea has pointed out. And that includes through regular business sentiment reporting, the principles for enhancing consultant and client engagement, and the economic valuation of the value of consulting. This year, we fully leverage that evidence. That means growing our engagement with influence and the private sector embedded in the key messages that those pieces of evidence have given us. And it means deepening relationships across regions, like we did recently through our regional Forward Works pipeline briefings with CCNZ and NZTA. We will also continue to advocate strongly for fair contract terms and procurement behaviours. And we'll showcase how consultants and clients can work together for more efficient, effective, and sustainable service planning and delivery, including through our revamped awards, which we're delivering this year and which really focus on the value of consulting, the value that our members bring. And we'll keep sharing the expertise of our sector globally, including through our work with Consult Australia, with the International Federation of Consulting Engineers, and opportunities to extend the reach of the diversity agenda under the guidance of our new chair, Sarah Lang. Second, we will keep powering successful businesses that are ready for the future. The future of consulting will remain a central theme in our content, events, and member support as firms respond to new technologies, changing client expectations, shifting workforce needs, and a more complex operating environment. We will continue to build strategic partnerships that support members' business needs and provide practical insights that help leaders benchmark, adapt, and make informed decisions. This includes through our remuneration and business insight benchmarking surveys. Now, keep an eye out for the Business Insight Survey, which will be coming your way in the weeks to come. And through our existing relationships with Gallagher and First Capital and Total Synergy. Third, we will focus on growing consulting excellence. The capacity and capability challenge ahead is significant, and ACE has a role in lifting capability across the profession. This year, we'll continue shaping our competence framework through future space and member engagement, while also keeping the conversation open about how we support future leaders and attract talent into consulting in the years ahead. We're delighted to share our expertise here with our friends at Consult Australia across the Tasman, who are now building their own competency framework and will be working to ensure trans-Tasman alignment on those. And finally, we'll continue building an aligned and resilient organisation so ACE can serve members well today and into the future. We have a new CRM to help us work better and smarter for our members, and we're working really hard to understand the opportunities and leverage that. So it's quite an exciting time here with the team. And also our regional champion network will be a really important part of strengthening relationships and ensuring local issues and opportunities inform our national advocacy. We will continue developing our cultural competence so we can better engage with, reflect, and serve our communities. And we will progress work on our membership strategy to ensure ACE remains relevant, inclusive, and fit for the future. So while this has been a year of adversity, I remain optimistic. We have seen the impact we can have as an industry when we rally together as a sector with key players across the political divide, consistently and collectively now acknowledging the importance of a stable and consistent pipeline of work. That has come through hard work and consistency in our messages across the sector. The work we have done over the past year gives us a really strong platform for the next, as we lean strongly into political conversations about cost and value and the levers we have in contracting and procurement to have more efficient and effective outcomes. We've strengthened our evidence base, deepened our advocacy, built connections across the sector, supported leaders and firms through uncertainty, and continue to champion the value of consulting services to New Zealand's future. So from me, a thank you to our members for your continued support, your engagement and your trust in ACE. Your contribution gives weight to our advocacy and strength to our collective voice. Together, we are more influential and resilient and better positioned to shape the environment our industry needs to thrive. So let's keep moving forward together with confidence in the role we play and the impact that we have for Aotearoa. Back to you, Andrea.
Kia ora, thanks very much, Helen. The ACE community has had a very full year and an exciting year ahead to look forward to as well. So I'd like to offer my thanks and gratitude for the team for the continued dedication and the work that you do for our members and the sector. So the budget for the 2026-27 year is next. So if we could go ahead to the next slide, thank you. And now our budget for the year, we're already 5 months into. This budget was approved by the board in February this year. For the 26-27 financial year, the board approved a budget for a surplus of $25,495. The budgeted surplus aims to keep ACE in a strong financial position following our deep investment in the organisation and strategy last year, and recognises that we remain in a challenging economic environment. Maintaining a budget surplus provides contingency for what we know will be another uncertain year for our organisation and for members. So revenue on the next slide. Getting into the detail, we've been conservative on our budgeted revenue and assumed no net member growth, although we are pleased to report that we are tracking well so far into this year in terms of attracting new members to ACE. Our other budgeted revenue remains conservative and sits across our awards, conferences and events, sponsorship and cost recovery. Importantly, the budget does not rely on revenue from new initiatives that have not yet been developed. Expenditure on the next slide. In terms of expenditure, we developed the budget with an eye to continue delivery of the core services our members expect, while also investing in areas aligned to our strategy that matter the most to members right now, and that we believe will have the most enduring impact for members and ACE. The focus of our strategic investment is in leveraging last year's value of consulting thought leadership to develop a strong and visible advocacy platform into the election and activating our regional membership through increased regional engagement. These are exciting pieces of work that will only strengthen the visibility and influence of ACE and our members and the role we play in building a strong future for Aotearoa. Beyond this, we continue our investments in the work you know and love, our events keeping you connected and up to date, like the SME Summit and our conference Future Space, and our new awards, our remuneration survey, our new business insights survey, our international connections through our membership of FIDIC, the diversity agenda, updated guidance notes, and importantly, our staff. We've got strong governance processes in place for tracking our budget, and I would like to thank our Audit, Risk and Finance Committee for their strong leadership in this space. So moving now to appointments to the board and the regional champions, I'll hand to you for that, Helen. Thanks.
Kia ora. Thank you, Andrea. So it's my pleasure to take us through the board and regional champion election results. So our board has 9 positions, 6 of which are elected positions and 3 are appointed to fill specific skills and diversity gaps, not otherwise captured through the election process. The election positions are staggered so that each year we have 2 elected members retiring and 2 positions available and open for election. So at this point, I'd like to say a massive congratulations to our 2 new elected board members, Stephen Price from Riley Consultants and Roger Vigdenhill from Stantec New Zealand. We also congratulate our 3 appointed board members, Sharon Parakel of Frequency, following her win of our Emerging Leader Award last year, Lorraine Granada of GHD, who was our Emerging Director Board Observer for 2025 and 26, and Josie Fitzgerald of Oregon, who recently stepped down as the Chair of the Diversity Agenda Steering Committee. We are delighted to welcome you all to the ACE board, so congratulations. ACE is incredibly fortunate to have such a dedicated and strategic board who put their volunteer time into ensuring our organisation is strong and successful for our members and the wider sector. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our 2025-2026 board for their dedication and their commitment to ACE, with a special thank you to outgoing elected board member and president, Andrea Ricard, for 2 phenomenal years as president and 5 years on the board. On On a personal note, I want to add a little personal note to Andrea. She hasn't seen this in the script, so it's a little bit of a surprise. The role of president is a volunteer one and requires a significant amount of input. We meet regularly as CE and president, and she gives her time and expertise to show up and lead the profession with ACE. What we've achieved together over the last couple of years, Andrea, has been a privilege to be part of, especially elevating our advocacy and really leaning into spotlight the value of consulting and our members. So, ngā mihi nui, thank you, Andrea, and I will miss working with you.
Thanks, Helen. Appreciate it. And as I said at the start, I didn't put my hand up to be a bystander. So it's been an absolute privilege to be in the role representing the consulting sector.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank elected board member and past Vice President Chris Short, who resigned earlier this year following almost 4 years on the board and following his move into local government. Sam Mackay, who was appointed following her Emerging Leader Award in 2024. Siobhan Hartwell, who was elected in 2024 and now has moved overseas to an exciting new role in California. And Byron Connier, who was appointed in 2024. You have all brought important perspectives to our board table, and your dedication and commitment to ACE is hugely appreciated. So please don't be strangers. The elected board members have also resolved to appoint current board vice president Penny Kneebone of Tonkin and Taylor as our new ACE New Zealand president. So congratulations, Penny. I'm excited to be working with you in this role. The board is currently working through the process for appointing our vice president for 2026-2027, and we'll announce this as soon as the position is confirmed. Now moving to our regional champions. Our regional champions are our connection to the regions and your regional representatives working with you to bring our strategy to life in their respective areas. We had elections for 6 regional champions this year, but received nominations for only 2 of those regions. So we welcome Mark Webber from the Bay of Plenty and Mark Thompson from Canterbury West Coast, who are elected unopposed. For the 4 remaining regions seeking regional champions, I'm delighted to welcome back Luke Price, Gisborne Hawke's Bay, Friso Roost from Northland, and Chad Williams representing Taranaki, who have been reappointed to their roles. And we will be reaching out to members in Otago, Southland regarding that role. I'd also like to welcome our Wellington Regional Champion, Rob Napier, who was appointed last year. So congratulations, Mark, Luke, Friso, Chad, and Rob. We're looking forward to working with you all to continue to bring our presence to life in the regions. Now, I know this is a lot of information, but it will all be updated on our website. So you can jump on there in the next day or 2, and you'll be able to see all the names confirmed there as well. But before I move on, I do want to say thank you to our outgoing regional champions, JP Stewart from the Bay of Plenty and Andrew Davidson from Canterbury West Coast role. JP and Andrew, your investments and contributions to ACE is hugely appreciated and has made a real difference, especially to our new members who you have interviewed, welcomed and supported, and your contributions to the board through your regional updates has been extremely valued as well. So thank you both for your commitment to ACE, and again I'm hoping that you will not remain strangers and we'll still be seeing a lot of you. On that note, I'll pass you back to Andrea.
Thanks very much, Helen. And I will shortly be asking for a seconder. So if someone could get ready to be a seconder for this one. So the next slide is the appointment of the auditor. Each year at the AGM, we approve the auditor for the next financial year. And this year was the 5th year we've used the services of Andrew Steele from Moore Markhams. And we found him and his team to be efficient, helpful and reasonable. So I would like to move that Andrew Steele from Moore Markhams be reappointed as the auditor for the ACE New Zealand accounts for the current financial year of 2026 to 27. Could I please have a seconder for this? Thank you, Joe. All who support or do not support the motion, please complete the poll, and I'll give you about 30 seconds, team, if you could let me know how we're going with that. Thank you, team. Motion's passed. So moving to our volunteers, it was noted earlier the depth and breadth of the spaces in which our volunteers represent ACE. They are the heart of the organisation, and ACE can't achieve all that it does without their support. So from our board, our regional champions championing ACE in their regions, to our transport and legal groups, contributors to our submissions and programs, our awards judges, and those who represented us in different advisory and steering and working groups, the generosity of your time and gifting of your expertise to support the work of ACE for our community, our sector, and for Aotearoa is critical and greatly appreciated. You help us have a strong reach and impact. Thank you very much. So I would like to move a formal vote of thanks to all our volunteers over the 2025-26 year. Could I please have a seconder for that? Thanks very much, Penny. So the poll will come up. If you could please register your vote, that would be great. Thanks very much. The motion has passed. So we're now moving on to the general business section of the meeting. At this point, I'd like to ask if there are any items of general business. You can pop those items in the chat, and I will just pause for a moment now to give you time to send those through and pop them into the chat. So I will just pause for a moment there. Just have a think about whether there's anything you would like to raise. And of course, the virtual line is always open to the ACE team if there's something that you think of after the meeting that you wish you'd raised. I can see Helen nodding. So I can't see anyone typing.
No.
No, I think
no curly questions for us, Andrea.
No, it's a surprise.
Like you've said, everyone knows where to find us, and we are
Exactly.
the ACE team are happy anytime.
Happy to receive feedback, any and all.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Some hearts popping up, so there, you never know, you might get something. So there's the email address if you've got something that you would like to raise, and as Helen said, you know where to find us. So before I close the AGM, I encourage you or your teams to register for Future Space 2026 if you haven't already. Our early bird tickets close next Tuesday, the 2nd of September. It's a fantastic event, and this year's conference is designed for our future firm leaders. It will really focus on what it takes to shape decisions, build trusted partnerships, and deliver work that makes a real difference. It is a conference worth prioritising, especially in today's uncertain times, because as well as being the sector's only consulting specific conference, it is also a great space to connect with peers, leaders and clients, and a rare opportunity to take time out to reflect and think about the direction you and your business are heading. We got a lot of really great feedback from last year's conference, and we have adopted that feedback into much of the content for the conference program. You will see more client panels, and you will see some of that feedback finding its way into the discussions that we're leading. So please do join us this November in Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland. We'd love to see you there. So I will now close the meeting with a karakia. So if you can pop that up on the screen. Me karakia tātou. Thank you, Brent. Kia whakairea te tapu, kia wātia ai te ara, kia tūruhi whakataha ai, kia tūruhi whakataha ai, haumie, huie, tai kie. Kia ora, everyone, and thank you very much for your attendance at this AGM. We'll give you the gift of another 10 to 15 minutes back in your day.
Kia ora. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you everyone for joining us.